Factoring polynomials by grouping. Brand new week. We're finishing up last week. One last day of getting caught up from our snow days. So here's the idea, and we've done this, something very similar to this before, where if we have a polynomial equation, polynomial function, we want to simplify it down to something we can actually solve for. So we look at our function, we say, is there something we can factor out from our left two terms and our right two terms? And unfortunately, for all of our examples here, that's going to be the case. So what we're going to do is we're always going to start off, we look at our first two terms, and we say, what can I factor out of both of those? Well, 9 and 6 are both multiples of 3, so I know I can factor out a 3. And then I've got at least x squared in both terms, so I can factor out x squared. And then in the parentheses, whatever's left. So if we divide this, 9x to the third divided by 3x squared, we have 3x left in our left term. And then 6x squared divided by 3x squared is just negative 2. Okay? And if you redistribute it, you can check to make sure this works. So 3 times 3 is 9. X squared times x is x to the third. 3x squared times negative 2 is indeed negative 6x squared. Okay. So what's important here is whatever's in the parentheses, that needs to be in the parentheses for our second pair as well. So that's going to help us out. I know this has to be 3x minus 2. Otherwise, this whole thing doesn't work. So I need to know what can I factor out of negative 6x plus 4 that's going to leave me with 3x minus 2. So I see negative 6 divided by 3x is negative 2. 4 divided by negative 2 is also negative 2. So this is going to be minus 2x. And then again, we can check it. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. All right? Very last thing, all we got to do is we take what's outside the parentheses and put those together on the left-hand side. We can put that in parentheses. And then we're going to take our common factor, our common leftover, more like 3x minus 2, put it on the right, and then that becomes our answer. Okay? And again, the whole reason why we do this is I could take this part in green. I could set that equal to 0. That's a quadratic. I could put it in the quadratic formula, come up with 2 solutions there. 3x minus 2, if I set that equal to 0, that's a linear function. We can come up with 1 answer there. And that gives us our 3 answers that our cubic function needs to have. Okay? Not that we actually are going to solve it today, but that's why we factor it. Because we don't have, at this point, a real reliable way of solving cubic functions. We need to simplify it to either quadratic or linear. All right, let's do one more, just to practice. So again, we look at our left two terms. 3 and 2, I can't factor out anything there, but I do have at least x squared. So I'm going to factor out an x squared. I still have 3x left on the left, and then negative 2 on the right. That's the same thing I had over here. Oh, that's not super exciting, but okay. So I know I need 3x minus 2 on my right-hand side. So I look at the original, it's just negative 3x plus 2, so that's just the same numbers, but the signs are flipped. So all I can factor out there is just a minus 1. So then I'm going to take everything outside the parentheses. I'm going to group those together, and then I'm going to take everything in the parentheses, which hopefully is the same thing. Put that on the right, and I'm going to box it off. There you go. That's more or less all you need to do for each of these. There's only one, and I'll tell you which one to look out for. Number 3 here. There's one extra step there. You need to go back. You need to look at your rule of difference in 2 squares. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I want you to check your notes. But I trust that you'll figure it out. Y'all are smart kids. If you need any help, though, just let me know. Otherwise, have a good day.